Everyone, I hope that you're doing really well today and you are in best of your health. Today I'm back with another book review, and let me tell you this, I really recommend reading this book, okay? So whatever I say good and maybe some things that I maybe didn't like about this book, don't worry about it. You definitely should read this book and it will definitely change your perception of the way you view money, the way you view your financial situation. I tried different plans, different advice from friends and family, and nothing really worked. I feel like he was able to put it in such a simple way, easy to understand and easy to adopt. The book that I wanted to talk about is Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover. First of all, this book is written in very easy, simple to understand language. I have read other financial advice books and sometimes you are really bamboozled and you have no idea what this person wanted to say or what he meant. So you don't need a financial degree to understand what he means and what he's trying to teach you. So he's also talking a lot about his personal experience, about his bankruptcy, how he got out of it, and how he got a grip of his own finances. And that is really inspiring. I love that he also says that his book is not a breakthrough, that it's not something new that he's invented, that it's just a common sense. But what he also says that common sense is not that common in these days anymore. This part of the book, and actually a big part of the book, is dedicated to inspire you and to motivate you as to why you need to start saving money and why you need to get into control of your financial situation. And he motivates you to the point where you actually want to put it into action. It's not one of those books where you read a beautiful quote, you feel inspired for some time and you forget it. He really gets to you. He really knows the way how to explain and how to reason so that you absorb the information and you realize that it really makes sense, and these were the things that you were doing wrong, the things that you need to improve on, and things that you can take from his advice and apply into your life and really see the difference. One thing to mention is that you can listen to an audiobook. I did two things. I read a paper book and I listened to an audio. So you can do both, or you can do one or the other. In audiobook, a good thing is that you'll hear an author talking to you. So I probably feel more inclined towards the audiobook because you can really relate to the author, and this is why I love audiobooks as well, because often they are being read by the author. I believe that nobody else can convey a message better than an author himself. However, it's a good thing to have a paper book as well, because you might want to highlight some things and revisit that book. What really motivated me and what really caught my attention is the way he speaks to us when he tries to convince us that we live in a constant denial. We constantly deny the fact that we cannot live lifestyle that we currently living without going into debt. He talks a lot on how we spend more than we earn and how we don't live within our means. I have a quote from this section: people were running around buying things they couldn't afford with the money they didn't have to impress people they didn't even like. End quote. He says that we tend to convince ourselves that we can live a life that we're living, but we actually can't. We convince ourselves that we can afford these credit cards, that we can afford these lavish cars and big houses and take huge loans, when in reality we can't. He also talks about how we tend to live on autopilot, where we just swipe our cards endlessly to the point where it's too late, and to the point where we just live from paycheck to paycheck and just keep on using credit and debit, and we get into debt that we can no longer manage. The way he looks at it is, he says that if there is a warning sign at the end of the road that you are going on, it says, do not go there, end of the road, you will fall. Would you go? No, but we do that when we use credit cards and when we get into these enormous loans. He says that we tend to ignore all the warnings that life is showing us, and that 90% of people spend more than what they can afford. What I also liked about this book is when he talks about his situation and when he got from bankruptcy to wealth. And in his book he gives you step-by-step guide, something that he calls baby steps. It's a practical guide on how to get out of debt, how to save for your retirement, how to save for your emergency fund. I feel that this book is very good read for married couples or the couples who are thinking to marry, and just to put both of you on the same stage and on the same step. Keep in mind that finances is #1 cause of divorces, so it's a good idea to read it together. However, as my husband doesn't like to read books, I feel like I am his book PA. What I do in this scenario, I still want to convey a message for him, so I take notes and I discuss the book with him. I tell stories and examples from the book, and later on we watch videos that are available of Dave Ramsey, and this also inspires him and puts him on the same page. And in most of the times he is my greatest motivator and someone who puts me on track and says, look, but Dave Ramsey said this, and this is what we are going to follow. Reading this book and taking into account his advice would put money matters away from the family issues. Believe it or not, there is only one thing that was in some way a con for me, is the way he is reading the book. Okay, so that was an audio version of the book, and as I'm coming from Europe, usually motivational speakers are very calm, very collected, and they just have different ways of speaking. And I think Dave Ramsey have a very strong, very out there way of talking and motivating. I think this style of presentation is very popular in America. It didn't in any way stop me from learning or loving this book, but I'm just saying that if you were to go for an audiobook and you started listening to it and you are not used to that type of talking, you might want to switch off the recording and might just put the book aside. If the style of the way he's speaking is bothering you, you can always read a paper book. So I hope that this inspires you to read the book. I don't want to again disclose too much information from the book, just because of the respect towards the author and his hard work that he put into a book. So I really recommend taking your time and reading it or listening to it, and I assure you, you will start looking at your finances completely differently. I really hope that you love this video, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye bye for now.